What's up, guys? It's the newbie disc golfer here, and today I'm bringing you guys a tier list of Discraft discs. When I got back into disc golf, I was a huge Paul fan, and so I started throwing pretty much only Discraft. I think after about a month of playing again, my entire bag was Discraft, and it kept growing to just be in Discraft. As late, I've been slowly adding more and more discs that aren't Discraft and just finding more companies that I like other than Discraft. But today I just wanted to give you guys my tier list of the discs that I've thrown, since I have thrown a good few, and just kind of see whether it's a staple, it's a workhorse disc, if it's just something that's like situational, if it's just kind of a bag filler if you don't really have anything else, or it's something that you just should not be in your bag, in my opinion. And without further ado, I guess let's get started. The Comet. Ooh. See, for me, I really did not like the Comet. It felt way too much like a ultimate disc, but with like a really gross feeling because of the bead. I don't know. I just would way rather have something that fits my hand better and doesn't have that like kind of gross bead. But it's not that if I'm being like completely honest here, I feel like the Comet's a workhorse. As much as I hate it, it will do everything that a person could need inside of a wooded course. If you're trying to dice up a fairway, the Comet is a great choice for that. So I honestly think the Comet is a workhorse for people's bags. Okay, we'll go with the Sting. The Sting was an interesting one. When I first got it, I had a river that I couldn't really take out of my bag, and I was hoping the Sting would be that disc, but I found it to be way understable, even in like titanium plastic. And that thing was just where I was at as like a little better than a beginner. I could not throw that thing very well until I learned about like throwing it for hyzer flip turnovers that you put on a lot of hyzer, and it just ends up going way to the right. I want to say situational, but honestly, it's kind of just like it can be situational if you are someone that doesn't have a forehand like me. But I really think it's just kind of a bag filler for a lot of people for when you're kind of like new starting off. It could be a workhorse if you're really brand new, but I think a lot of people just kind of stick it in their bag because they have the room. I believe this is the Banger GT now. This picture isn't the greatest. I probably should have got a different picture, but Banger GT. I feel like I should have had better categories here. Like it's oh boy, what is the banger? I'm gonna put it. I feel like a lot of things are gonna be going into workhorse, and I think Banger GT is one of those discs that you'll throw. You might use it as like a throwing putter every once in a while. You might putt with it, but I don't think it's really a staple. And honestly, it's not a lot of people are using it as. So I don't think I can really put it in that workhorse category. So I'm just gonna put it as a filler. It's a great disc if you like the weird indentation. It has a nice stability that you can kind of beat in to get a pretty understable flight out of, and overall it's a good disc. You can't go wrong with it. I'm just gonna put it in the bag filler though, just because it isn't something that I feel like a lot of people throw, and you're not gonna be throwing it on all sorts of holes like you would with the Comet. Zone staple. Anyone that's throwing Discraft most likely will have a zone. Can't say enough about it. I have a ESP and an X-Soft in my bag, and I don't think they'll ever leave. The X-Soft is just money for a little straighter, and the ESP just is that overstable finish. Not a big fan of the Z plastic, so I kind of wanted to stick with the ESP since it's my favorite. And now we go with the Onyx. I think a lot of people like the Onyx, but I think it's this is a tough one too. I'm gonna say for a lot of people it's a bag filler. I'm kind of looking at this as more of an amateur, like intermediate player. So I'm not looking at like a pro level who like might utilize an Onyx. But I think a lot of people get the Onyx thinking they can do more with it, and then find that it's really overstable, and they may enjoy it. But I don't think it's a workhorse driver that you're looking for. It's not something you're gonna be throwing on every single hole. There'll be situations that you can use it, but it's just I'll put it situational because if you have a big arm, then like you'll be throwing this a lot more. And like for me, I can use it as a somewhat overstable disc. But yeah, that's that. Crank SS. Okay, this one will be a tough one. I think I'll put this in the bag filler. This is one of those discs that I just absolutely loved until I lost it. It was money for distant shots, especially with little wind. Just put on some hyzer, flip it up, watch it ride to the right, and come back with a nice little bit of fade. Um, but it's definitely something that a lot of people aren't going to be using as their main distance driver, and it kind of gets a little flippy in the wind. So I think it's something you'll have in your bag, and you might pull it out, but it's not something you're really using all the time, or it's not something that you're pull. Let's go situational. I think a lot of people will use it for that max power shot, but if you want something more consistent, you're gonna find it. You're gonna pull out a different disc. And the Mantis. Okay. Personally, I think I did not enjoy the Mantis as much as I thought I would. Um, but I think it is a workhorse disc. It's something that once you beat it up, it could be really nice to throw, and you can, just like the Comet, just dice fairways with it. I've seen some amazing shots out of a Mantis from like Paul Ulibarri, but overall, it's not the best workhorse disc you could have, in my opinion. I enjoyed a few others on this list more, but it definitely is a workhorse, if I'm being honest. We got the Buzz. That's going to be, of course, a staple. Anyone that throws Discraft is also probably throwing Buzzes. I don't know. There's nothing else to say. It's just kind of, that's the way it is. The Stalker. For this reason, I'm going to put it in bag filler. Kind of a similar reason why I gave it the Sting. The Banger is I just think not that many people are throwing them as often as I'm seeing other discs. Maybe they are now that Paige is throwing them. And so, like, maybe it'll pop in the workhorse. And I guess since Pagers, I bet a lot more people are. But it's just, I feel like I didn't hear really a lot about Stalkers. No one really talked about him until Page. And it really is just kind of that Mantis Undertaker type disc. But it's just, if you don't hear about it, you're not going to really use it. So it could definitely be a workhorse disc for you. So, okay. I believe this is the Buzz SS. It's another situational. A lot of people can throw it, but if you have that average arm speed, it's going to be something you're going to pull out when you want something understable. I don't really see it. It could be a workhorse, but I don't think it shapes up as well as a Comet. I don't think it holds every line as well as a Comet does. So I'm going to put the Buzz SS in the situational, which there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I just feel like people aren't going to be using it as much. The Wasp. This one's tough because this one really goes between these two for me. I think it could be a really consistent workhorse overstable mid, but I think I got to put it in the situational because most people are throwing Buzzes on a majority of their mid-range shots. I know a lot of people do like the Wasp. I'm a big fan of mine, but I definitely don't pull it out as much as the Buzz. It's kind of more situational. It's just, that's really when it comes out. The Roach. I'm thinking like on a Big Z Roach or like a Titanium, not the Pro D, just because I putt with Pro Ds. I never really throw them, but I do throw my Big Z some, and it's a bag filler. I think I have it for some shots. It's kind of like my like cheap Luna, as I kind of like to think about it. It just doesn't have the same feel and flight as a Luna, but it's close enough that I kind of have it as a backup. I think it's just something people do enjoy, and some people like the Big Z Roach more than a Luna. And if you do, then that's good. But I think it's one of those things that kind of you'll just use to fill your bag, and you might throw it every once in a while, but overall, not a lot. Undertaker, there's no doubt I'm putting it workhorse. If you're a fan of Paul or if you watch Paul, you should know that he threw Undertakers when he first came to the team. I don't know if he switched now. I think he switched to Vultures now. But I know he was throwing Titanium Undertakers just dead straight. And that's why I got into the TI Undertaker, then branched out, and I have a couple different ones now. And I just love it. It's such a versatile disc. You can use it all over the place. And I don't even know what else to say. It's just, if you need something that's gonna do everything you want, get an Undertaker. If you can throw drivers, there's nothing more to it. A nuke. I'm gonna say workhorse. I've seen a lot of people that throw nukes as their main distance drivers. They'll flick them for something overstable, but not crazy overstable. And like a lot of people don't really like backhanding how big. My Z nuke is a meat hook, but I do enjoy having it. I don't really use it as a workhorse, but I think a lot of people can use the nuke as a workhorse. We got the Meteor. I think I got to put Meteor situational. Even though I throw Meteor, I don't really like the Comet, and so Meteor is kind of that understable mid for me. It's just I don't really find it to be as much of a workhorse as like a Buzz, which like I know Buzz is staple, but like you're using the Buzz all the time. Like a Comet, you can do a little more than a Meteor can do, in my opinion. At least my Meteor. So I think the Meteor is kind of that more situational. You're pulling out for specific shots. You're not really you're not just falling back on it. Worst comes to worst. Same with the Buzz OS. Great disc, but it's just a long zone. Just really overstable for me. I didn't really enjoy throwing it. I kind of learned that I like throwing more understable stuff, and the Buzz OS was just beefy. But it's not a disc. If you need a longer zone shot, just pull out your Buzz OS and it'll be money. And this is probably going to be a controversial, but I'm going to put the Luna up at staples. I think it's just such a good throwing putter. I see tons and tons of people that putt with it, and tons and tons of people throw with it. It has a lot of different plastic options if you really want to go out and find them. And a lot of people don't like it, but there's so many people that like it. It does have it's the Paul Macbeth line, so there's a little bit of hype just for that reason, which kind of sucks because it is a super nice disc that a lot of people would have like a very, I can't even talk. It's a disc that a lot of people really need in their bag, and they're not going to have it. So I think the Luna is going to be a staple in a lot of people's bags if they're throwing a lot of Discraft. Okay, let's go a quick look through. I think I messed up with my categories, and it kind of screwed me up a little bit. But overall, I think it's a pretty good list. Drop down in a comment what you would do different. I'm assuming a lot of people have different thoughts than me. This is just my own opinion based on me throwing a lot of Discraft and just what the discs that I've had made me feel. I don't know. There's definitely room for movement, and maybe you guys want to do this yourself. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.